Hello and welcome to Bruce Springsteen Guitar Lessons. Today's lesson is going to be Adam Raised A Cain. Thanks very much to Hunter Borrell for the request. If you're new here, please consider subscribing and hitting that bell icon for notifications. Also be sure to follow to the end of the video just in case I go through any parts that aren't in the walkthrough. So what I'll do now is go through the whole song and you'll see tab appear on the screen. And then I'll come back and go through all the individual parts. So see you in a bit. Hello and welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that walkthrough. So now what we're going to do is go through all the individual parts. Okay, so let's look at the awesome intro solo, that kind of like signature riff. So I've watched a few videos and there's one that he did at the Paramount Theatre where you can actually see quite clearly what he's doing, which is quite cool. He does like to improvise a lot of these solos a lot of the time, but this is, I've transcribed, as best as my ability, the intro solo, so of the actual album version. So yeah, so watching him playing at the Paramount Theatre show on YouTube, I think he's doing it with his first finger 12th fret E string and then middle finger 14th fret D string. So these are both E notes. Okay, so it's an octave. But the reason he uses these, I think, is more to block the other strings out, because you only want the D string and the E string ring. So if you look on the tab on the walkthrough, basically what I've suggested is 16th note triplets. So to simplify that a little bit more, you've basically got 6 notes per beat, and that's the rhythm that I've suggested. So entirely up to you how you count, triplets and how you play it. But basically, if you get a metronome or whatever and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and that will sound really cool. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. So that's roughly what he's doing. So he's doing that for basically 4 bars, and you just cut off the last beat of the 4th bar and do a run, as this is a pentatonic run. So do that down, up strokes. So 12th fret D, hammer on to 14th fret D, and then 12th fret G, hammer on to 14th fret G. So basically what you've got is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So it's like that. So the last bar goes 1, 2, 3, 4, and yeah. So you've got this cool little pentatonic riff at the end of the 4th bar, and then he's doing this kind of aggressive kind of sort of slow bend on the 14th fret G string. A lot of the stuff with Bruce, he's really going for it. So I recommend putting a lot of energy into when you're playing it, even if it sounds a bit kind of rough sound, if that makes sense, because that's kind of Bruce's style, is to really go for it and attack those bends and attack a lot of the notes. So this is bar 5. You've got this slow bend, 14th fret, and then you've got at the end of the bar, you've got 14th fret D, 12, 14, G, and then you've got a bend, release and pull off on the G string. So you bend the 14th fret, release it, and then pull off. So timing wise, you've got this 1, 1, 1, 1 E and, 1 E and, 1 E and, something like that. Okay, so it's the last bar and a half. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you've got that. Again, don't forget you can slow down the walkthrough using the cog icon in YouTube. You can do that on any video. So just that should help you as well. And then you've got the 15th fret B string after a half a beat rest. Okay, so those last 2 bars, you got this 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, it's all pentatonic. E minor pentatonic scale, first shape, classic, probably the most common soloing scale you ever see. So, and then the next bar, I think he's doing something like this. I couldn't work it out exactly, but I think it's pretty close, where he's kind of doing this 10th fret B and 10th fret E. If anybody else had any suggestions on what that could be, I think it's roughly close to what he's doing. And a bit of vibrato as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then at the end of this bar, upstroke, and then 1 and a 2 E and. So this kind of style bend in this position here, which is the first shape of the E minor pentatonic, an octave lower, you've got this bend and release, and then pull off, or pick it, 1 and a 2 E and. Okay, so this is a classic Bruce kind of guitar soloing skills. I think it sounds great. I just love this intro. So what I'll do, the last 2 bars, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 and a 2 and. Cool, so again we're using just your E minor pentatonic in that position, and E minor pentatonic in that position, okay? So I'll play the whole of the intro solo. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, oops. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, E and a 1, 2, 3, 4, E and a. So yeah, it's a pretty cool intro riff. Again, you don't have to play exactly, 16th note triplets. If you wanted to do semi-quavers, so 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a, that will work really well because it is quite fast. But yeah, it's a really cool little technique at the start. It sounds so good to start the song off, I think. So that's the main intro solo. So then basically after that, you've basically got the main verse. So it's a 4-bar riff. And the bass does it. Okay, so basically you've got an E5 power chord. So 0, 2, 2 on the A and the D string. And then you've got the 3rd fret E string. So you've got this, timing-wise, 1 and 2 and 3, 4. So on the tab, I've suggested either sort of dead notes or kind of just stopping it with your right hand, okay? So 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Hope that makes sense. So time-wise, again, you've got 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. And then the 4th bar. So those 3 bars of the verse are exactly the same. And then you basically do A5. So 0, 2, 2 on the A, the D and the G strings, then 1 and 2 and 3, 4. So again, you can either do dead note on beat 4 or mute it, yeah? So I would play around with it because it sounds quite percussive. Sounds really nice. Otherwise you've got this, without those rests and the gaps. So yes, also before you go to the A5, I would make sure you rest as well. So 1 and 2. You see there, I muted the strings there. So 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 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 So it's a really cool, quite repetitive, simple riff, but really effective, and it just sounds awesome. Okay, so again, chord notes again, E5. Passing note is this just 3rd fret E string, and then you've got the A5. So the keys with these open power chords is you only want to make sure you strum the E, the A and the D strings for the E5, and then the A, the D and the G strings for the A5. You don't want the major note ringing or E sus4 if you're barring it too much. So cool, play that verse 4-bar riff one more time. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 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 Cool. So they are the verses. Cool. I also put the song structure up on the screen now. And again, it's the same setup as all my other song structures. There's only chords in brackets. That means that there's just more than one chord in that particular bar. So the song structure's, fairly straightforward. Again, don't forget to check the walkthrough and the tab that appears on the screen, and that should help you a little bit more as well. The song structures are always in the description as well. So the verse is all pretty much the same, and then the only thing that he basically does a little bit of improvising in the 3rd verse. Okay, so he does a few variations. I didn't actually record this on the walkthrough. But basically, if we wanted to have a go at it, so bars 4 and 8 of the 3rd verse. So I'll show you what I mean. So that's bar 1, bar 2, bar 3, and then. So he does that at the end of the 3rd, on bar 4 of the 3rd verse. And that's basically the A5, the G note and the E5 as before, and then he's doing the open B and E strings, which he does quite a lot. It's basically a power chord. It's really cool. And then the bend and release on the 2nd fret, and a pull off on the 2nd fret, D string. So it's a cool technique, but it can be quite tough. The closer you are to the nut, the tougher the bends are. So I really, if you're not familiar with bends and pull-offs and things like that, I have some teaching videos as well at jsmusicschool.co.uk. So there's 3 blogs on there as well. That might help if you're struggling with pull-offs or hammer-ons or and things like that. So this is bar 4 of the 3rd verse. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. That sounds really cool. So play a little bit slower. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Sounds really cool. And then there's another variation on the 8th bar. So of that 3rd verse. So you've got bar 5, bar 6, bar 7. I think it just does the bend, 15th fret B string. Okay, so that's just some little ad-libs, and I think when he does it live, he does other stuff, but with the same scales and just plays around with it. Okay, and then you've got the bridge section. So the bridge section is a 6-bar section. It's really cool. So it goes A minor to C, and then does that again. Does bar 3. Bar 4, then A minor, and then B7. So what I suggest is picking pattern for this. I think you can hear it quite clearly actually on the record. So you've got A minor, and I've suggested picking it like this. Okay, so A, D, G, and then open E with an upstroke, and then an open B string. Sorry, it's not open B string because you've got your first finger down there. Upstroke on the 1st fret of the B string. So timing wise, you've got this. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Oops. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Hope that makes sense. Down, up, up. You can do a downstroke on that last note, it doesn't really matter. Down, up, up. I just feel comfortable doing that. And then C major, do the same thing. Sounds really nice, especially over that bass and piano. Okay, so that's the picking pattern for the A minor and the C. Okay, so play around with that. Again, if you're not comfortable picking, you could always strum it, but I think to get the real gist of the song, it's good to kind of get as close as possible. So down, up, up, A, D, G, E, B are the strings. Again, it's a 6-bar phrase. And the last bar, you've got a B7 chord. So if you're not familiar with the open B7 chord, fret-wise, you've got 2nd fret A, 1st fret D, middle finger, 3rd finger, 2nd fret G, little finger, 2nd fret E. Okay, it's a really nice chord. Often people play it in bar version, but you can. This open version sounds awesome. So rhythm for that, or picking as well, you've got this. Simply got quavers, 1 and 2 and. So going down, up, on the A, the D, the G, and the E strings. Down, up. Cool, so that's the bridge section. And I'll just show you that again. So A minor, C, back to A minor, so that's bar 3, bar 4, bar 5 is A minor again, and then B7. Cool, so the bridges are always the same, apart from the 4th bridge, it just does a shortened version. So it basically does the A minor, A minor, and then C, and then goes back into the chorus section. Cool, so let's look at the chorus section. So I really like this actually. It's kind of really rocky sounding, so make sure you get a nice crunch setting. So the verses I've suggested are kind of a clean setting. It's got a reasonably nice clean setting, and then you kind of want a kind of dirty kind of crunch sound. So let's go for the chorus section. So the chorus section, start off on the 3rd fret E string. Okay, 3rd fret E, and then you go to the E5. So 1 and 2, and then you've got a rest. So rest, mute the strings, and then do an upstroke or a downstroke, doesn't matter too much. 1 and 2 and 3, and then you've got that kind of cool little pentatonic bend thing going on again. So this is how I pick this. I go down, down with my picking hand, and I go bend, release, pull off to the open G string, and then 2nd fret D, pull off to the open D string. So that last bit, so you got this. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 E-ander, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 E-ander. So don't forget you can slow down the walkthrough to get that timing. So that's quite fiddly, this bit. Once you get it, it sounds really cool. So a few more times through that. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 E-ander, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 E-ander. Now some of the choruses, I think on the record, I might have done something slightly different in the walkthrough, but basically the 4th bar, I think in the 1st and 2nd choruses, doesn't really matter too much. He just basically goes on the last bar of the chorus. It's a 4-bar chorus normally, and lets that ring out before he goes back into the verse. So I'll just play kind of one of the chorus sections, so the 4-bar phrase. 2, 3, 4. You can carry on doing that if you wanted to as well. So that's the main chorus section again, and it goes, it's quite obviously a big part of the song as well. And then there's a break where you don't actually play for 4 bars, and they're kind of all kind of singing and building up to go back into the 3rd verse. And I think basically all he's doing is for 4 bars, and it ringing up. You've got a little sort of cymbal swells that Max is doing, and it goes back into the 3rd verse. So that's just open E and B strings. Cool. So that's pretty much all the parts actually. So the ending actually fades out on record. So when I've made the backing track for this one, again, not Roy Bittan, so I did some simple organ and piano, and I did a sort of my own version on bass, and I programmed some drums in. So what I've made it is a kind of 16 bar of the chorus, and then I just stopped on an E5 power chord. It does actually fade out on record. But yeah, have fun with that. It's just a great rocking song. It just sounds awesome. It's some really cool soloing parts in it, and really cool rhythmic parts that Bruce does as well. Cool. I'm also going to do a solo video separately, so that will be available from Patreon this coming Monday, the 20th of January 2020. So you'll be able to get the Patreon, the full guitar solo video via there tomorrow, and also the backing track. So the Patreon account will be patreon.com/Bruce Springsteen Guitar. So hopefully see some of you on there. Any comments or suggestions, feel free to let me know. Had quite a good fun making this one actually. So it's just a real rocky track. And yeah, and I'll see you on the next video. So yeah, thanks very much for watching. And yeah, if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And see you next week. Cheers, bye.